Go. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Detroit Baseball Weekly. We're not in the camper anymore. First video did so well, got millions of views. We got enough for an office, so definitely not anywhere else. Hi Isaac, how you doing today?
We're doing great, man. Now that we're in a new office, like you said, man, this is a sweet office with a bed behind us and some desk chairs.
It's a penthouse in New York City that we're using for.
Yeah, he's not kidding either. So. You see the $1 million rolling off the walls over here.
Mm-hmm. Let's get into it. First topic for today is Tarik Skubal's surgery. What are your thoughts on this? How is this going to affect us? Not as much the rest of this year, but more towards next year.
Well, let me kind of give background to his injury. He had a flexor tendon surgery. It was successful, as we all know. I follow him on Instagram, seen that, all that. But the fact, like you said, the fact that we lost him this year doesn't hurt as much as the fact that we'll lose him for all of next year, most likely. Maybe most of it, but most likely all of next year is what I'm seeing. And it really sucks because this year he really looked incredible. Like, we really thought this year Eduardo Rodriguez was going to be our ace, and like in his, obviously Rodriguez missed time, but in his own way, like he kind of made a name for an ace for himself for a Tigers team. At least like maybe not an ace as you think of every other team's aces, but like for our team, he could be he was probably our best pitcher.
He was supposed to be our one.
Well, I wouldn't say he was supposed to be, but from this year he was our one. Obviously Rodriguez and Mize were probably
that was year 1 and 2. And the debate was which was which. That's what people are talking about going into the year.
Well, losing him in our rotation next year could really hurt a lot, especially if a lot of our injuries get better and we actually, maybe we cut some guys, like old veterans, and maybe bring in some free agents. I don't know. But I really don't think that's going to happen because, like we said last week, I think a rebuild's coming. So, I mean, it really could not even hurt us next year because we're probably not going to be contenders next year anyways. Like, I don't know, maybe hopefully it changed, but hopefully when he returns it doesn't change his career trajectory that he was on, because he wasn't like highly scouted as like he was an MLB pitcher, he was scouted as an MLB pitcher, but not like this good as what he is. He wasn't projected to be as good as he is now. And the fact that he came out and is doing this good, it really came by surprise to a lot of people, a lot of scouts that scouted him. So hopefully he can continue the path that he was on during his career, and when he comes back, and hopefully he comes back better than ever.
Yeah, it really sucks. When we started this year, like you said, Mize and Erod were supposed to be like the 1 and 2, with Skubal as the 3. And that shifted quick. Mize was out. He had his Tommy John surgery. And this is back when most Tigers fans still had hope for the year, where we said, like, it's okay, we'll make do. Mize will be back in 24, which sucks. But Turnbull comes back next year. And Erod's still going to be our 1. Then Erod went out, and that hurt us too. But we knew he was going to be back soon. With Skubal out pretty much indefinitely at this point. Because it's just, for all the pitchers this year, it's just been like an endless cycle of everybody just getting hurt, starting their rehab and not coming back. The only exception is Manning. Which, by the way, Manning is starting to become at least our 1 for next year. I think we'll probably get a couple free agents. I just don't know who they're going to be because I don't know what the plan is even for our general manager yet, and he's really going to pull the trigger. It really does suck, though, that Skubal and Mize are both going to be out through next year because they were, like, 2 of our 3 key pieces for the future. And especially with Alex Faedo and Joey Wentz both having kind of shaky injury histories too. Who knows how the back end's gonna turn out. That does bring us to our second point though. Eduardo Rodriguez came back and was pretty good. He started the year shaky and ended up pitching 5 scoreless. What is it? What are you seeing right now?
Well, I mean, we've really only seen one game from him back from his personal reasons and whatever it may be that was holding him out. But maybe the time off is kind of what he needed. Maybe, I don't know. He came out and pitched like he's been pitching all year, like he never missed a beat, really. The only like blemish on his game that night was the fact that he had 3 walks. But I mean, 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs given up, 5 strikeouts. I mean, it's really not that bad. And the best thing about that whole thing is it was a complete game shutout. I mean, it was a complete game shutout for the Tigers roster. But not only that, the Tigers actually won a game. like it's obviously it's going to be easier to win games when you don't give up as many runs, and that's been a problem. But our offense has been more of a problem, and I mean, if you can get run support on low scoring on low good pitching games, if you can get runs, you're more likely going to win games. And sometimes it just clicks for people, you know what I mean? Like for the bats to actually hit for them, like behind them, because they're motivated more or something. I don't know how it works. It's just weird.
Yeah.
But that's like the best thing. But I don't know what to think of him, because really he was paid as to be our ace. When really, if you look at his career, I really don't know why. I looked through all his career stats, and he doesn't have any stat that's overwhelming at all. Last year he averaged a 5 ERA, a 5.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just his raw stuff.
But to his credit, he's only like 28 years old, 28, 29 years old.
Exactly.
So he still has a lot of room to grow, but his stats, when I looked at them, are not overwhelming at all to deserve the high praise of money that he got, really, in my opinion. But he's pitched solid this year, I will say. He's pitched solid, not great, not horrible. He's solid.
So a lot of people like to complain because he had a couple blow-up starts before he went on his restricted list leave thing. His stats for this year really are not that bad. He's got a 3.89 ERA in only 44 innings pitched and a 1.3 whip, which you don't love to see. But it's encouraging. There was a lot of talk about how he had a 4.7 ERA last year, but he was also pitching in Fenway. That's a tough park to pitch in. I don't know. I think a lot of it is a lot of potential. That was also his worst year, the worst year of his career, ERA wise. I think there's a lot of potential with him. Like you said, he's still really young, so there's not a lot to go off of besides just raw talent. He's been in the league for a few years, but the numbers that I am seeing, especially from the 2015 to 2019 range, really aren't that bad. If you average up the ERAs for all of those years, you get a 4.03. In Fenway for half of his games, that's definitely a little inflated. So I think that's probably around a 3.75, which is respectable.
But do you really think it matters? It matters, yes.
It does matter.
But great pitchers don't fold. Don't like their ERAs. Stuff like that.
I'm not claiming that he's a great pitcher, but he could be really good. In Detroit especially, which
obviously,
is a hard...
Detroit's going to help his pitching out a little bit. Detroit is not... It's a pitcher-friendly park.
Boston also has one of the worst defenses in the league. We were pretty bad last year, but we are, improving. I don't really know. I think it's a step in the right direction. If he can come back for the future, like 2024, and be our 4 behind Mize, Manning, and Skubal, that's best case scenario. I think that's really where he could have ended up this year, and that would have helped us win a lot more games. Because the atmosphere is important. If you go into a game and your starter lets up 3 in the second inning, it already feels impossible to come back. It's like, all right, well, if we want to win, we at least have to score 4 now. Whereas if you get a guy out there that's just shoving through 7, then every inning feels like we just need 1 here. We just need 1 here because the pitchers are going to pick us up. We got to return the favor. So I think that pitching could help a lot, which if we get some guys back next year, some of the younger guys, I think that could help us win a few more games, especially if we do kind of clean house and not exactly clean house, but get rid of some of the guys that clearly don't need to be here anymore.
Yeah, but the difference for me, I think it should be the same for every Tigers fan. This upcoming year is I really don't think we should have playoff aspirations or anywhere close to 500. Really, like this year coming in is what everybody thought, because we were kind of close last year and we were making a run for it. And when we signed some big free agents and we thought we got better, and really we're 30 games under 500 right now, which is pathetic. We're the worst team in the worst division in baseball, really, and that's kind of sad. But I don't know. And something I thought was interesting that you said, you named like our starting pitchers or something. Like you said, he could be 4.
Yeah.
Rodriguez could be 4, but you didn't mention Turnbull.
Turnbull?
What's his contract? Do you think he's gonna end, or I don't know what his contract is.
I don't know.
You know, have faith?
I forgot about Turnbull, which
he does get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, when you have those 3 guys and Turnbull goes down with Tommy Johns.
Don't forget about the no-hitter, though.
That's what I was going to say. It's
about
hard to forget about him, but it's also easy to remember him because of that. He's got something there. Erod doesn't necessarily have to be the 4. He could be the 1, or he could be the 5. It just kind of depends. Like, it's obviously purely performance-based, so I guess putting him in that order doesn't really matter. But if we stick with our rotation of Mize, Manning, Turnbull, Rodriguez, and Skubal. That's a pretty good rotation.
That's a good.
There's no marquee name per se yet, but those are 5 at the worst 3 starters. And this could be the homer in me, but if we do pull in a marquee name, who's better than a front runner in the Cy Young? Even if he is
Justin Verlander,
39 years old.
Oh, I love Justin.
As much as I would love to see him back, but that could just be me.
No, I'd love to see him back too.
I think he would love to see himself back.
Even if he doesn't even come out and be our starter, he can be a nice bullpen piece.
Dude,
he's got nice stuff. He doesn't have to go.
He has an ERA in the 1.
I know.
Right
it's
now.
like a 1.9 or something right now.
There's no way we wouldn't start him.
I'm saying if
he falls off,
No. I'm saying if we don't want to stretch his arm out too bad.
Yeah.
He's getting older. His arm is getting more.
Or we could run 6-man rotation.
I mean, you could, but that's just, I don't like that. It's just, I mean, it's unique.
It takes the tension off their arms.
It does, but I mean, it's a possibility because the more obviously a guy can pitch, it could hurt his arm more and give up more runs, yada yada yada, you know.
Yeah.
But it could be a good idea. But also, I think having him in the bullpen could be really nice. He could be a spark plug, really.
Sure, but
you don't want to make him throw too many innings because he's got an old arm. You know what I mean? Yeah. And say you go to the playoffs. You know how they cut like the rotation down.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's going to be in the bullpen there if he starts the rest of the season?
I think he could do what Scherzer did, last year, where he starts a game and then 2 games later comes in to close against the Giants in the NLDS. One of the greatest moments I've ever seen live, by the way, when they brought their closer in the 8th inning and everybody's like, oh no, who's going to pitch the 9th? Out comes Mad Max. Freaking awesome.
That was awesome. But I'm just saying, I think Verlander's got amazing stuff, and if you don't force him to pitch a lot, his stuff can be unhittable from the bullpen perspective. Just have him pitch like a quick 2 innings, 3 innings, maybe even 1 inning if you want, I guess. But I think like 2 or 3 innings would be very effective for a guy like Verlander because he's got really good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it also depends on the performance too. If let's say he opts out of his contract this year, and we sign him in the offseason, we're going to have to start him, right? With Mize and Skubal out, he would have to be a starter in this theoretical.
Okay, yes, next year, yes.
Yeah. And then after that, we can figure it out from there. Who knows? Maybe Manning has a bad year and we switch him to the bullpen. Turnbull's
coming back next year, right?
Yeah.
He should be.
Yeah. He was supposed to. Well, he could have been back by the end of this year, but they're not trying to rush him since we're not going to the playoffs. So.
Yeah, there's no reason to. Don't force him back.
So.
Who would you rather have though? Going back to what I was talking about. Who would you rather have? Like, who would you place above the other? I guess in the rotation between Turnbull and Rodriguez. Because from what we've seen from Turnbull, it's been really good in my opinion. Obviously, we haven't seen much of Turnbull.
That's
but from what I've seen, he's looked pretty good.
Turnbull.
Let's look at the stats.
His career ERA is a 4.25 with a 1.323 WHIP, and
I think Rodriguez's ERA was about the same.
Erod has a 4.15, so that's a little better, and the WHIP is a little better.
Go back to
take your pick though.
Go back to Turnbull real quick.
The nice part about that though.
Scroll down. See, this is why a 6.06 is rookie season.
That's a good point. He had a 2.88 ERA before he got hurt last year.
Exactly.
The nice part about him is it's kind of a wombo combo, you know? You got a righty and a lefty, get him from both sides.
Gonna be filthy.
Could be.
Who would you choose though between them? I have my pick.
I know your pick's Turnbull.
It is Turnbull. Just because I've seen more of Turnbull. I like Turnbull more.
Purely because of the no-hitter, I'll pick Turnbull, but that's not to slight Erod at all.
You can choose Erod if you want. I mean, it's a good discussion. Erod.
That's the problem, is it's so close that I really don't know who to pick.
How old is Turnbull?
28,
29.
Turnbull.
29.
Yeah, he's 29. Oh, he's close to 30 though.
Yeah.
Turns 30.
I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah, but Erod is
the same age. A little younger.
Yeah, a little younger.
Just a couple days.
That's so close though.
Not a couple days, but
that is so close. That's kind of the nice part, is you can pick who you'd want more for the matchup in the playoffs per se.
But obviously the Tigers paid Erod.
Yeah.
To be that guy.
Yeah.
Turnbull's not making that money.
No. Yeah, I mean, purely off of skill, it's a hard question to ask, honestly.
I think the Tigers have no choice but to put Erod above him now, or else fans are going to erupt, because why pay that guy that much money and he's not even going to be that high in the rotation, right? Because I think Mize and Manning and Skubal, top three, no matter what. I have them locked. Obviously not next year, but I'm saying for the future of the Tigers, guys under contract in our rotation, those guys have to be top three. I think Mize is going to be the best one.
The problem is...
I love Casey Mize.
The problem is with both of our, the two of probably the better. I would say Manning is just behind him. With both of those guys going down with major arm surgeries, you really don't know how they're going to be after. You could have like a Michael Fulmer situation where maybe one of them is nasty out of the pen, but doesn't really have it in the rotation anymore, you know?
I think most likely out of those guys it would be Manning.
Manning?
Yeah, I think
Manning hasn't had the injury though.
Or not Manning.
Mize?
Mize probably. Dude, I don't know. From what I've seen from Skubal, I was watching a couple of the games, and before he got injured, obviously, and he was throwing 97 all year.
Yeah.
One game in back-to-back games or something, he threw up to 100. He got up to 100. That came out of nowhere.
But that also could be his downfall if he's trying to throw too hard.
Oh yeah, to that. You know what's something that I thought was really interesting? I seen on YouTube the other day. There's actually more injuries happening now than what there was in the 60s when they had.
Did you watch the
cages?
Baseball Doesn't Exist video? Is that what it was?
I don't know.
I think I watched the same video. Shout out if it's Baseball Doesn't Exist. Could be Star Craving Sports though.
I don't remember, but they had no rails in the dugout.
Yeah, I watched the same video.
Everything. And there's more injuries happening now because guys are trying to throw the ball faster. And arm injuries and everything are mostly what's happening.
Yeah.
But then there's like obviously the bat getting hit off the ball into the pitcher's face.
That's what happened with Joey
Or-
Wentz. That's why he's been out all the years, because he got hit with a
Yeah.
line drive off the
But I
calf.
thought it was really interesting to see that more
Mhm.
injuries are happening now than what there was back in the day when the game was completely unsafe. In that video that I watched, I don't remember if shout out whoever it was, but I seen this thing like they were playing with like trains in the middle of the outfield or something. Like
Oh,
literally,
with drains?
like-
Yeah.
like
there was, like, a
metal
drain-
no
there was-
trains. I think
No,
it was
a
trains.
drain, bro. There was a drain cover in the middle of Yankee
I-
Stadium's outfield.
It might.
There's
it
a
was
famous
train.
story
It was a
about
train.
how Mickey Mantle
Yeah,
tripped
Mickey
on
Mantle. That's what I was talking
it. He
about.
tripped on it and like destroyed all the ligaments in his
He
leg.
got carted off the field and came back and played like 15 more seasons on a no ACL or something.
And that's what makes older baseball great, is because he was a center fielder. Even though he wasn't a center fielder anymore, they continued to throw him in center field, even though he was awful out
But I
there.
really just think it's interesting to see the
Yeah.
injuries that I don't know.
It's unfortunate.
It sucks.
It's
But
unfortunate.
guys just throwing a lot harder. That's all it comes down to.
Let's talk about a couple of roster moves they made this week. The first one is Eduardo Rodriguez, not Eduardo Rodriguez. I'm sorry, Jonathan Scope went down with an injury, and Zach Short got called up. You got anything about this?
I mean, it sucks that Scope got injured because he's been one of the best defensemen in
It's true.
all of baseball. All of baseball. The analytics really love Jonathan Scope. And when you look at him, he's not overly fast. He's not overly athletic, but he makes the right baseball play. every
He's
time.
got the knowledge for sure.
And Zach Short, I just don't really like Zach Short. I thought he would be better. He got called up last year a couple of times. Did he start on the roster last year?
Mm-mm.
Are you sure?
No. When we cut Nico Goodrum, he kind of replaced him.
I swear he like started on the roster last year, got bad, and then got demoted or something. I don't know, but we seen him last year, this year, and he just hasn't looked at all exciting in my opinion. There's not been a part of his game that's really been too good, in my opinion. I think there could have been better guys to call up, but I mean, at the same time, he's already been in the big leagues. We kind of already seen him a little bit, so why not call him up instead of ruining someone else's
Yeah.
potential?
It's a fun move. It sucks that Scope got hurt and
I'd rather
like
have
because
Scope all day.
yeah, because of
a
his
fun
defense. Well, okay, let's say Scope gets hurt anyways and we have to call somebody up. I don't know. I have a weird thing with Shorty where he might not have the results, but he's so fun to watch for me. I don't know what it is. I just like when Short's out there. Maybe it's because he's on the Compound podcast.
He
but
has a career 137 batting average.
he has, so far this year, which has only been in 5 at-bats, he has a negative 46 OPS plus. He has a career 42 OPS plus. Not lighting the world on fire.
He's only got 5 at bats this year.
Yeah, he got called up for like a day or so.
0 batting average though.
I like Shorty. I think it's because he hosts the Compound podcast with Ian Happ and Dakota Mex. I like him. I always text my dad when he comes up because my dad's the same way. He doesn't really know why he likes Shorty, but he likes Shorty.
Well, you can definitely root for some like
Yeah,
random guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's how Akil Badu started. Like,
yeah.
everybody was like, I like this guy. And then all of a sudden,
liked Akil Badu
No.
after that.
Fuzzy is a YouTuber, like a baseball YouTuber, and he covers the Guardians, and I think that's what Badu was when he was with the before he got to the Tigers. I think he was with the at the time Indians. And Fuzzy's been high on this guy even before he made his debut, and then once he had the electric start, it just kind of went crazy. Long story short, though, I like Shorty. It's a fun move. Would I have rather seen Ryan Kreidler up? Sure, just to get him a taste of the big leagues. But I don't know. It's not gonna make the difference. So
I think, although I haven't seen much from Zach Short. I'd rather have him called up.
then Kreidler.
Yeah, I would. I'd rather give Kreidler like a fair chance like at the start,
Yeah.
early in the season or something,
Yeah, that's fair.
instead of feeling like you're the
Feeling like-
backup to someone because he got injured and then you got called up and.
I mean, I think it's more of just like a readiness thing. I think Kredler's been ready this year, but
I
what's
just
the point?
think they only called him Zach Short up because he's been here before.
That's fair. The other move that happened was Willie Peralta got cut, which that kind of sucks. You got anything on Willie Peralta? Do you know anything about
That's
Willie
all
Peralta?
you.
That's all me.
That's all you.
I don't know what I think about Willie Peralta, honestly.
The one thing I'll say about Willie Peralta is he's pitched decent amounts this year, I'm saying. And I really don't remember a single thing that he's done this year.
So
He hasn't had any memorable moments in my
he
opinion.
was electric out of the rotation last year, and it was kind of crazy because he was like,
He's not even
he was
doing
doing
bad.
no, when and we cut him, he had a 2.5 ERA out of the bullpen. The whip was high, but it didn't matter when he just wasn't really giving up runs.
It could be a defensive thing, though. The defensive could have been saving runs for him.
I guess, but it's not like we were looking at him to be like the guy. We
A
had
2.58 ERA, though, is pretty good.
even if you take Fulmer out, we had Soto, Chafin, Lang, Cisnero, and Jimenez all back end guys. We didn't need him to be that great. We just needed him to be serviceable for the middle. And he did more than well at that. My question is,
Did he get
Why?
cut or did he get demoted and like placed on waivers?
no, I don't know. It just said Detroit Tigers released Willie Peralta.
Well, sometimes they say that because they if they have too many options on their contract use.
Yeah, but then they would put him on waiver. It would say he's getting placed on waivers, not he's released.
I don't know.
My question is, why him instead of a guy like I don't know what I don't know what it is about Will Vest.
You don't like Will
I don't like Will Vest. It's kind of like the opposite of Shorty, where like the results are kind of there, but something about him just rubs me the wrong way. He's got a 3.75 ERA though, and his WHIP is lower.
Well, the reason why is just because he's younger. He's only
Yeah,
27. Willie
that's-
Peralta's 33.
That's fair. Okay, I'm with you with that one. What about Daniel Norris? Daniel Norris is still
well,
on
we
the
just picked him up.
and
Why would you just cut him after you just pick him up?
he's 29. This year he has a
I will say
5.75 ERA.
I'd rather have Willie Peralta than Daniel Norris.
Daniel Norris is going to be gone next year anyways. Why
I know.
not keep Peralta to at least try to win
But
some
was
more games?
was this Peralta's last year on his contract?
Yeah, it's Norris's last year too.
Well, yeah, I know, but so it really wouldn't have made a difference anyways.
No, but
So
if I'm going to watch the Tigers, I would rather watch them be bad instead of terrible. Like,
they're gonna be terrible no matter what. That was funny.
if we pride ourselves on our bullpen, which is what we've been doing all year, because that's the only thing to pride ourselves on, why not make it as good as possible?
Because maybe you ever think about this? Maybe Willie Peralta came to the Tigers and said he wanted out because he's getting up there in age, wants to be released, signed with a good team so he can possibly win a championship.
If he did that, that's fine. But if it was purely the Tigers,
Well, obviously they don't really give you much background into it. They don't
yeah,
really give you much context of what happened. Usually that stuff stays up in the front office.
yeah. MLB.com released their top 30 prospects for every team and the top 100. In the top 100, well, we'll get to that after we get through the top 30. Let's run through the top 30 and see if anything pops out. Anybody we like or anybody who thinks a little high or a little low. If we're gonna start with the 30 to 26. You have Josh Crouch, Javier Osario, Jose De La Cruz, Elvis Alvarado, and Tyler Madison. I don't know anything about any of these guys.
You know more than me.
Most of the time, these bad guys like 20 and below, don't have a whole lot going on for them unless they're.
He's 17. He
Yeah,
just drafted
That's
him, didn't he?
yeah,
That's what I
that's the
thought.
thing. But like, all these guys are in. So Elvis Alvarado is a pitcher in Double A right now. Everybody else is. They're all in Double A and below.
Single A.
There's really not much to say about these guys. If they start doing more, then they'll get higher, kind of like Kerry Carpenter did. But as of right now, there's not much to say. I have a big problem with this next 5. 25 to 21, we have Joey Wentz, Andre Lipsius, Brant Herter, Abel Bastidas, and Manuel Sequeira.
I know you're thinking Joey Wentz is too low.
He's way too low.
I knew you were going to say that.
What are we doing? I mean, MLB.com seems to favor MLB readiness. This guy is literally MLB ready.
He's been there.
He has been there. Why is he the 25 when there's a lot more?
They just don't see the upside to him like the other guys. That's all it comes down to, really.
Same problem with the other 4 guys that I had with the last 5 is that they don't really have anything to show for him right now.
But I'll agree with you. I think Wentz should be higher. Like, I'm not saying anything, but where did he go? Where was he going?
What? Lipsius?
Brant Herter is 1 year younger than Joey Wentz in Double A and isn't projected to be here until 2024.
Why?
And Joey Wentz has already been here and he's only 1 year older.
I mean, if I'm scrolling up a little bit, personally, I would put him.
I think he's above Garrett Hill.
He's
too.
100% above Garrett Hill. We'll get to him in a minute, though. The next 5 guys, 20 to 15. This is where you're starting to get some guys. Luke Gold, drafted him this year, second base prospect. Troy Melton, I think we drafted him this year. Parker Meadows, Austin Meadows' younger brother, in the same class as Riley Green. Austin Bergner, and Juancio Perez. Isaac likes Juancio Perez.
I do.
You think he should be higher, lower, or you think he's right where he should be?
I really do think he should be higher just because I see more potential in him than Garrett Hill, really. Like, I'm not saying anything about Garrett Hill, but...
The problem with that is Garrett Hill is an established major league depth piece at the worst, where Juancio Perez he's 22, which is young, but just doesn't have a lot to show for him at the moment.
I really do like Juancio Perez. I don't know, from what I've seen, he's a switch hitter. Like, come on. Switch hitters need to be
He's got
better.
no pop. He's got no pop.
It doesn't matter, man. He's fast and got defense.
Maybe he'll show me that I'm wrong. I think
If
this
I'm
is
not
fine.
mistaken, I'm pretty sure I forgot everything now. It's been too long. Was it his numbers? Was it his home runs that started to get better?
Yeah, it's starting to get better, but he's at 9, which in Double A isn't.
His
necessarily-
career high was 4.
Going from an F grade to a D grade doesn't make it good. It just makes it better, right? I think he could be fine. I wouldn't rate him any higher than he is. I think he's fine where he's at. The only little nitpick I would have maybe is putting Parker Meadows a little bit higher, but I don't have any problem with where he's at.
This guy right here.
Going to the
is
next-
too low.
Going to the next 5, we have Kerry Carpenter, Dylan Smith, Garrett Hill, Roberto Campos, and Christian Santana. You can start.
I like Kerry Carpenter. I think he should be higher. I mean, he had a pretty good start, and recently it's not been as good. He's kind of cooled off a little bit. His batting average and everything's not as high. He hasn't hit a home run in a little bit. But I do think he should be higher. He's only 24, and I don't know. He's been in the majors. He's not even that bad, really. He's been all right.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not going to say he's been terrible. He's been great. He's been doable. He's been solid for how long we've had him now.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't really know much about these other guys as much, just because I don't really watch minor league games, obviously, so I don't get to see as much.
Yeah.
But Kerry Carpenter I've seen, and I've liked how he's played, really.
So
So I don't know.
as much I agree with you. I like Kerry Carpenter a lot, but I also know what these other 5 guys bring to the table.
But you're gonna
At
tell
least-
me a 26-year-old Garrett Hill
So
is higher?
okay,
That dude shouldn't even count as a prospect anymore.
Garrett Hill is high. I think Joey Wentz should be for sure above Garrett Hill here at the 13. I would put Joey Wentz probably around the 10, probably 11, because other than one guy I'm gonna complain about a little bit, this top 10 is pretty good. Christian Santana really surprised me. He was our number 3 prospect last year, I think. He's supposed to be like the guy when he gets his call. He's only 18.
He's only 18.
Him and Roberto Campos both. That's the problem with them, with putting him as high as they did in the past. Is Santana's 18, Campos is 19. I mean, we're probably older than both of these guys, and we're pretty young, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a bad spot to put them for their what they could be. Dylan Smith, watch out for him. He's a sleeper
My
from last
problem
year.
with like ranking
Last year's
someone that young so high. I mean, there's not anything wrong with it, but like, how are you supposed to like project like how their careers are supposed to turn out?
I mean,
It's really hard.
we signed Campos when he was 17, so we've seen him for 2 years, and this is not putting him in the top 10 for as much raw talent as both these guys have.
He still has so
It's-
much room to grow though,
Exactly, but
or room to get hurt and decline.
that's the beauty of prospects is it's all speculation anyways.
It
Even a
is,
guy
it
like
is.
Spencer Torkelson could be a bust eventually. I'm not saying he will, and he's got a better chance to succeed than anybody, but there's a chance.
You're right.
So-
It is all speculation, but to my credit, well, not to my credit, but in my opinion, I think a little bit older guys, not a guy 26 years old, Garrett Hill shouldn't even fucking count.
I mean,
But like older guys, like 22-year-olds and stuff, should be
Garrett
valued
Hill,
maybe just a little bit more because you've seen more experience from him.
Garrett Hill's eligibility has got to be running out. Like he's been out for a good bit, so I can't imagine he's going to be on this list for too much longer. Kerry Carpenter, I'm assuming he's going to finish the year with the Tigers. I don't know if that will be enough to take him off the list or not, but it'll be close to. These guys are both on their way off this list, so it really doesn't matter how much we nitpick about them because they're not exactly prospects anymore. But yeah, I guess you could say that Hill is probably high, Carpenter's probably a little low maybe. I don't hate where they're at though, personally. This top 10, let's just take them one at a time because these are some guys that deserve some of our attention. First one, way low.
Way low.
Way low is
I
Dylan
agree.
Dingler.
I agree.
This guy's probably going to be our catcher of the future. He has mashed everywhere. He's got, okay, let's back up. Maybe not mashed, but right now in AA, he's got a 767 OPS. That's pretty good for a catcher. That's all you need out of a catcher, especially when all the reports are saying his defense is improving. I don't really trust the defensive metrics, so I go off of people's eye tests because they're so flawed. But when you got a guy who's hitting that well and playing good defense, how can you rank him? I would argue he should be our number 3. The next guy, Reese Olson. He's supposedly got really good stuff, but he's putting it together an alright year, a 4.22 ERA. We got him in the Daniel Norris trade. I've heard all good things about this guy. I don't know what you know about him, but I think he's ranked alright. I think he'll be alright. A lot of people are saying he could be up next year.
Yeah, it does say 2023.
He was one of him, Meadows, and Kreidler were my 3 guys that I said could be up by the end of this year.
Mhm.
Yeah, he'll probably be alright. I don't know. We'll see. The next guy, another one that's just so low. I don't know what it is about MLB.com, but after somebody gets drafted, they seem to rank him really high and then just let him drop instead of ranking him fairly for whatever reason. I really like Isaac Pacheco. Probably a third baseman. They have him.
I like his name.
They have him as a third base shortstop prospect. I like him a lot. I guess he's
tall
if we're
for
looking
a
at his-
shortstop if he plays shortstop.
like I said. I think he's probably more of a third baseman. But if we need him to, he could probably end up at short.
West Michigan?
Yeah, I mean he's with Joe. He got he's younger than us. I'm pretty sure.
He's 19. I don't know what day or month he was born, but
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at his grades, his power is a 55 and his arm is a 60.
he's older than me.
Yeah, he's a little older than me too, but he's our age, right?
Yeah.
You ready to play in the majors right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Me either.
I am. What do you mean? Me either.
That's really the big thing. He's got a really good arm. They don't have his fielding. Oh, they do have his fielding pretty well too at a 55. Power at 55. I think he'll be good, honestly. I think the same way that
I'm rooting for that guy.
I think the same way that Riley Green and Tort came up, and the same way that Manning and Skubal came up, I think the next big pairing is going to be Jackson Jobe and Isaac Pacheco. Next guy we have is Ryan Kreidler. I think he's ranked fairly because a lot of the guys ahead of him, besides maybe one or two of them, have probably better potential. But I like him a lot. I don't know why he's not up right now. I really don't. Yeah. He's just kind of.
Well, he's projected to come up at some point this
I
season.
don't know. That's why I don't know why he isn't already.
6'4" shortstop.
But he's picking it, dude. That's like his thing. Is he's good at shortstop for being that tall. If we're looking at his grades,
No, I like tall
It's kind of
shortstops, man. Look at O'Neal Cruz, 6'7".
it's kind of Troy Tulowitzki was like the OG tall shortstop.
Really? I don't know how
He's-
tall was Troy
He was pretty
Tulowitzki?
tall. He was so tall they thought he was a pitcher.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they took like a whole photo session with him, doing like pitching stances. He's 6'3".
So he's shorter.
He is shorter than Kreidler. The nice part about Kreidler is he can play literally anywhere you want him to. All of his grades come out pretty well. His hit grade is at a 45, which isn't bad. That's his lowest grade though. Everything else is 50 or 50 to 60. His arm and his fielding are really like his key things, especially when he can play all those positions. But his power is a 50, his running's a 50, and his hit is a 45. By the way, this is on a scale of, I think it's 30 to 80. If you hit 70, you're probably the best person. Like, let's say you have 70 power, you might as well be Barry Bonds at that point. So 60 is pretty freaking good for arm. 45 is an average hitter, but his power, run, and fielding are all respectable. I like Ryan Kreidler a lot. Bring him up right now. Next guy is Colt Keith. I don't see the hype, personally. Like, he grades out well, but still not as good as Kreidler. His stats are good. I won't lie. Last year, as a total between four teams, he had a 1.69 ERA. Or not ERA, OPS plus. OPS, Jesus. He had a 1 dot slugging, meaning that on average, every time he came to the plate, he was at least getting one base. This year, he's cooled down a little bit. He's at a 914 OPS. So the stats don't lie.
You're talking me into this guy.
The stats don't lie, but he's still so young. He's only an A-ball right now, and he spent time with 4 different teams last year. Like, 2 of them were rookie ball. The highest he got was West Michigan, which is our single A advanced team, which is where he's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't good in single A last year, only in 18 games, but 162 average, 250 on base, and 250 slugging for 500 OPS. Obviously, he's turned it around this year. I don't know. If he's good, that's good. But I don't think he should be ahead of a lot of these guys. I think he probably sits around the Santana and Campos place, around the 10, 11 area. Next guy is Peyton Graham. Drafted him this year. I don't really know a lot about him, but he's a 6'3", 185 shortstop. You got anything about this guy? This is our top 5. Not great so far in the minors, but he's only played a few games, especially in his first stint.
Another 6'3" shortstop. These
185 pounds though, so it's not like he's like a big guy, you know.
Still.
I mean, if we're looking at his grades, hit grades at 50, powers at 55, running and arm are both 60, and then his field is 50. Maybe he grades out better as a third baseman, but I don't know. He's got better grades than Kreidler, so whatever. I'm sure he'll be fine.
He's young.
Ty Madden is kind of a guy I'm excited about.
Yeah, me too. I know a
We
little bit about him.
we stole him last year. Like, he was supposed to be a top 15 pick, and we got him at, I think, like 35 or so. Like, we absolutely stole him.
His
Good
and
fastballs.
slider.
Yeah, fastball, slider, both 60s. Change up at a 55 and a curveball at 50. He's got 3 quality pitches and a good fourth. Controls it at 55. Sure, we'll take that. So far, I mean, he's in Double A right now. Between Double A and West Michigan, he's got a 3.06 ERA in 103 innings pitched. I like him at the 4 slot simply because I would put Dingler in the 3 instead of the next guy. You got anything about Madden before we move on?
I don't really have anything to add to what you say, but I do really like Ty Madden.
We literally stole this guy. I mean, his frame was supposedly like not really filled out when they got him, so that was a big thing. Is they kind of just told him to hit the gym. He's 6'3", 215 right now. I don't like that's. He's kind of filled himself out. It looks like, at least from this number. I don't hate this. The next guy is tough. I think that he's in Double A right now. He's got 85 innings pitched in between Double A and West Michigan with a 2.11 ERA. I don't know what I think about Wilmer Flores, really. He grades out pretty well with a fastball, curveball at 60s each. His changeup's at a 45, which I guess you kind of need that third pitch as a starter, and then 55 control.
Ooh, I'd take Ty Madden over him.
I would 100% take Ty Madden over him. I think they really are jumping the gun with this guy.
They have Wilmer Flores higher projected ETA than Ty Madden, and he's younger. That's interesting.
I mean, you'll have that.
Yeah, but they think he's gonna come here next year, and Ty Madden's gonna be here in 2 years, and Ty Madden's barely older.
He's probably right. Well, the thing about Wilmer Flores is, he's had another year under his belt in pro ball. This is Madden's first year, so I think it's more about just getting into pro ball than it is about actually.
I take Ty Madden's.
Oh, I'm 100%
good
with you.
fastball slider more than a good fastball.
I think
curveball.
I think Wilmer Flores could be fine, but I would not put him anywhere inside the top 10 even. I'd say he slots out around like the 11 to 15 range. I think that's a good area for him, but if he proves me wrong, great.
I wouldn't rank him that low, but
If he proves me wrong, great, but I just don't know what I think about this guy. The next 2 guys are the 2 that are ranked in the top 100. If we're bringing up their locations in the top 100, we have
they're really not even that high though.
Jace Jung. It doesn't matter though because they still made it in.
Well, yeah, they still made it in, but
We have Jace Jung. His brother Jack. What's his brother's name? It'll come back to me. His brother is a
Jason right there.
yeah. His brother is a third baseman with the I lost it. Right there. His brother's a third baseman with the Rangers. He's a really, really high prospect. 74. He's ranked 74 in the top 100. His brother Josh Jung is only 2 spots above our number 1 prospect Jackson Jobe, and I guess Jace is supposed to be a carbon copy of his brother. He's got a really funky swing. I don't know if you've seen the videos of it, but it's really interesting. I like it though. He manufactures a lot of pop with it.
Does he strike out a lot from it?
No, that's the thing. I'll see if I can find a video of it really quick.
Because a guy like
It's
Javier Baez, he's got
it's-
like a funky. I want to say
That's the thing.
let's say
It's
it's a
really
funky
flat.
swing.
Like he starts up here and then brings it way back and then like comes straight through. It's
that swing
really
looks better than Javi.
it's really funky. Like he will literally bring it back here. That was kind of a bad angle. It's
Oh, I see
it's
it.
really
I see
flat,
it.
but he manufactures power from the left hand side. I think he could be really good for us. I'm excited about Jung. I think he's probably our second baseman of the future, if he doesn't switch to third base or a corner outfield position. 6 foot 205. I guess we could throw him at first. I don't
No.
know. Doesn't matter. He'll fit in somewhere. His bat's too good not to. If this is how he turns out.
I'm seeing a lot of like middle infielders and stuff, and our top prospects.
Well, that's
not
how it
like
always is. Everybody's a
outfielders.
middle infielder till they're not, you know. Jackson Jobe, I mean, the 41 rated prospect in all of baseball.
It's not as high as I'd hope, but I mean,
Well,
he's
he's-
still young.
He's just older than us. He's 19 still. He's having kind of a bad go in single A right now, or in A advanced right now. But it's kind of hard to start a guy that young in single A advanced, anyways. I like this guy a lot though. He grades out well. As much as the Tigers got shit for drafting him, I think this was kind of a steal, especially because the only other, it was Marcelo Meyer and Jack Leiter were the 2 guys that got drafted before him. We probably missed on Marcelo Meyer.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, Marcelo Meyer went after. There's another shortstop that went before him. Okay, not the NFL draft. So,
That's 2022.
jeez. So so it was Henry Davis, the catcher out of Pittsburgh, was the first overall pick. And like I said, we probably missed on Marcelo Meyer because we definitely should have drafted him. Same thing with Jordan Lawler by the Diamondbacks behind us. Henry Davis is the 20th ranked prospect, but he went right in front of him. That's fine. Jack Leiter, though, is not looking great. I mean, he was supposed to be the guy in this.
48.
He probably should have been the number 1 overall pick last year, but he's only at 48. See where Joe ranks out at. He's got a 60 fastball, 65 slider, 60 changeup, and a 55 curveball with a 50 control.
I like those.
We have not heard consistent 60s in any of our other prospects. Like, he is just better.
That 65 slider. is
65
what I like.
and that's the big thing about him. It's like his fastball sits around 94. He could probably hit like 97 or so, but his slider is just nasty, just pure nasty.
Do you prefer movement over velocity or velocity over movement?
I guess to some extent.
Because a guy like Mad Max doesn't exactly blow you out of the waters with velocity.
No,
But his stuff.
you have to have a good mixture
Mix.
between, like, you either have to be really hard throwing and have some movement, or have really great spin and at least throw
All
like
right,
90.
let me say this. Would you rather have a guy like Aroldis Chapman, who throws really hard, like no control a lot of the times,
Yeah.
or someone like Gregory
Gregory
Soto?
Soto.
Gregory Soto's another. He's like the same version as Chapman.
Maybe
or-
a little worse, but I'm
Well,
happy with
yeah,
Soto.
worse, but
I'm happy with Soto.
I'm saying he's got the same,
Mhm.
the same issues,
Yeah.
the same positives to him, or a guy who's got really good movement but like low velocity.
Kyle Hendricks, I guess. Kyle Hendricks has a fastball in like the 80s, but he just dots sinkers. That's really his thing. Obviously, you take a guy like Chapman, but Kyle Hendricks has made a name for himself
Or
as.
a guy like Manoah. Manoah doesn't throw too fast, does he?
I think he throws like 97, dude. Alek Manoah. I'm pretty sure he's like 97.
I don't know, but I remember watching him during the All-Star game. He's got
That's
good
the
movement.
that's the All-Star game.
Well, yeah,
now.
but still, I remember. Okay, I haven't only watched him at All-Star games, but still, he has good movement on his
Yeah.
pitches.
I don't know. That's tough. Quote from Trevor Plouffe: "Results trump all. If you're one of those guys and you're not performing better than the other, then
A guy like Verlander, you know what? A guy like Verlander, he doesn't throw fast at all.
Verlander's an anomaly because he's done both. He threw Ched.
I'm saying now,
There's a
Verlander.
stat by Foolish Baseball that Verlander has thrown more. So I want to say from the time the video was made to like the StatCast era, which I think was 2008, the second most pitches over 100 past the seventh inning from a starter, I think was 2, 3. It was lower than 5. Verlander had like 42.
Okay, but Verlander is throwing what, like 94 right now?
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Verlander is one of the greatest pitchers of all time, so you
Well,
can't
yes.
compare him to anybody.
I'm saying now. I'm saying
Now?
current version of Verlander.
Sure.
He's got nasty movement on like a slider. His slider is phenomenal. He
Yeah.
throws a slider more times than a fastball, basically at this point.
I don't know.
From what
Is
I've
he?
read.
I don't know if he is. He might be throwing Shed, man. He might be throwing Shed.
I don't think so. Look it up. Look up
I don't.
Verlander's average velocity on the season. I'm pretty sure, dude, it's like 94 or 95,
Still by
which
you.
isn't too fast. It's not too bad, but it ain't too fast. 88.
No, that's exit
Oh, exit
velocity.
velocity.
That's really good though. Average exit velocity at 88.
Well, yeah, he doesn't give up much, like, bat to ball. His fastball
His
average is a 95, like I said. That's not that fast, but he's got good movement. So would you rather have a guy like I'm not saying take Verlander's stats. I'm saying
Okay.
just his build, how he pitches. Verlander with good movement, low velocity, or average velocity.
Yeah, then
Or-
I would 100% take that guy because, like I said, it's all about what they do with it.
I don't know, man. I think I like movement more, man. Movement and control matter to me.
That's
more
that's
than
fair, but you
velocity.
do need some velocity to counteract that.
Yeah, but think of this. If, say you're a bullpen guy like Chapman is,
Mhm.
but you're the opposite of Chapman. Say you have a really hard throwing starter on the mound, and you mix it up with slow
That's-
velocity to mess up the hitter's timing and really good movement.
Yeah, you've just explained Randy Johnson. Like, you literally just told me what Randy Johnson was.
How?
What do you mean how? Randy Johnson is one of the greatest pitchers of all time. You just explained what he was.
Yeah,
He threw hard,
yeah,
and then he threw really good breaking balls
yeah. But
from the left-hand side.
You ever watch? You ever see a guy like Fernando Valenzuela or whatever his name is pitch?
Probably.
Not seen him pitch on MLB The Show. All right, his
Yeah.
changeup is like 68 miles per hour, and I promise you that pitch is so hard for me to hit. His fastball isn't even that fast, but trying to hit 68 miles per hour with it's incredible movement. it literally drops so good.
That's like, okay,
It feels like an Ephus pitch coming at you.
what you're comparing Aroldis Chapman to is a position player. Is Cody Clemens on the mound where they just throw like a 48 little thing and then get
well,
rocked?
You're taking it too literal.
Okay. Couple more things for this episode. We had a couple other topics. We're going to push those in next week. Get ready to talk about Tucker Barnhart and some catching next week, unless some other more important things happen. I do want to touch on Fernando Tatis Jr., though. If you don't know who he is, look him up really quick.
I'm sure everybody knows.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Everybody.
He was like the face of baseball.
For a little bit.
He fell off his motorcycle and got hurt this year, and was recently just popped for steroids. We're a little late to the party, but I do want to talk about, what do you think that his legacy is ruined?
No, absolutely not. You know how many players come back or get popped for PEDs and stuff like that? A guy like Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, they lived off it. Do you think their legacy is ruined?
Barry Bonds isn't in the Hall of Fame.
True, but I'm seeing a lot of people put asterisks on their numbers, but you never forget them.
Yeah.
I think maybe in the Baseball Hall of Fame and stuff like that, maybe it could be ruined, but in the lives of fans of baseball, it's not ruined.
Here's the thing about Tatis. To start, he's young enough to salvage it.
But also, to his point, I'm not sure if he's dumb or stupid or if it's true or not.
Okay.
But he said
He said that he got medicine for ringworm.
Yeah, ringworm.
And it was the wrong type of medicine and had steroids. As much as I would love to believe that story, that sounds like a cover. That sounds like
He's like such.
He's like, I gotta just make some.
It could be real though.
No, I don't think so. I think that's like I think that's
like usually
not something
like
that's
a guy
happening.
would be like, I was taking like a supplement to help my injury or something.
Yeah.
I was unaware. Nobody says I got ringworm.
I got ringworm. That sounds, especially because like, and a big thing that Trevor Plouffe has like to say about it on the Baseball Today podcast with him and Chris Rose. Go watch it. It's great. Is you should, if he was going to get that, there's no reason that he shouldn't have called his team doctor first and been like, is this okay? Like, one phone call would have saved all of this if that story's true. I think it was kind of a...
Yeah, but really in the moment, you don't really think about a medicine like that, containing something like that.
But his dad was an MLB player too, and at that level, like, if he should have known better. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, most of those players really have to check their supplements or what they intake.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Stuff because
just make one call to the team doctor. Is this medicine okay? Yes or no?
If it's true though, if that's true what he did, take ringworm, he's got to be more aware next time. Take ringworm medicine. He's just got to be more aware. But it's hard to believe that is the reason.
Padres were pissed at first though.
Oh yeah,
because his
teammates blasted him.
Mike Clevenger said like,
yeah,
this is the second time you disappointed us, and that's a good point. So
yeah,
if the first time he made the dumb decision to ride a motorcycle, which nothing wrong with that, but when you're getting paid as much as he is to be as good as he is, you have to watch what you do. Come on, like,
I don't know. I don't say that's a dumb decision, dude. You gotta let a guy live his life.
Would you rather have that or potentially win the World Series? Because he pushes them to the next level. He is that good.
Oh yes, for sure. Obviously, you'd rather have him there, and maybe he thinks about it, but like, and maybe it's a dumb decision, but it's not like he was doing something stupid.
If you're gonna
like, I'm gonna switch sports real quick on you. All right. A guy like a hot topic right now, Deshaun Watson. His decisions were dumb. Or as Calvin Ridley, he got suspended the whole season for betting on his teams.
Pete Rose is banned from baseball for that shit, man.
Yeah, isn't that stupid though? Like,
yeah,
I think that's dumb. I think that's dumb compared to PEDs or sexually assaulting women. How is a guy betting the games gonna get suspended more than a guy who sexually assaulted 24 women? That doesn't make sense.
But
I don't think it's a dumb decision.
Maybe not necessarily maybe not necessarily riding the motorcycle was a dumb decision.
Maybe
But-
if he was riding it erotically and
Yeah.
not
Why-
being smart.
That
Then
and
it's
also why not, if you're gonna do that, if it's purely for the thrill, which why else would you have a motorcycle? Literally just, if you're that rich, get a car. But you can get a motorcycle, rent out an airfield, like a small one.
Nobody's gonna do that.
Dude, people do that. Or okay,
Rent out
a
an
track.
airfield.
Rent out a racetrack, like a motorcycle racetrack for a couple hours. It's not like he doesn't have the money to do it, and then just zip around
Yeah,
and do
but
what you
people
want.
like to ride around the city and
That's
stuff like that.
that's fine.
And pass people and show off their bike.
I guess, man. Just
I'm saying him
Either way.
riding the motorcycle
Okay.
or owning the motorcycle is not stupid. Maybe if he was riding it irresponsibly,
Yeah.
it's stupid in
Sure.
his part.
I don't know. I think that he
Was
has
the
enough.
crash even his fault?
I don't know what happened, man. I really don't. I just know that it was a motorcycle accident.
Like, was it him by himself? Like, or did
I-
a car hit him?
Again, I honestly couldn't tell you, but yeah. The thing is, he's got enough time to win a lot of people back if he plays well, and there's a really really good chance that he wasn't using it when he was playing baseball. First of all, he didn't need to. He was already a top 3 player, the best shortstop in the game by far. But I think it was mostly like a healing thing. Like he took it to get back on the field faster, which the problem with that is it puts into question all of his stats. Personally, I don't think he was doing it this whole time, but now everybody that looks at his career is going to say, who really knows?
I'm not.
They
I
drug
get you're
test decently often.
I know, but that's just what people are gonna say about him, which is fine. I think it's gonna hurt his Hall of Fame case, but I'm not saying he won't get in. Pudge Rodriguez was a known steroid user with Jose Canseco, and he is in the Hall of Fame. But he definitely didn't help himself by doing that.
Well, do you even think he has a Hall of Fame case right now? I think he's got to do more.
Yeah, but he's definitely on that track
Yeah,
already.
he's on the track, but he's got to do more. I think he can easily be a Hall of Famer, but
100%. That pretty much wraps up the episode. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.
see ya.